Ashley Smith, she walks us through the timeline of the shooting, which actually begins 2 hours before the shot rang out.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since a 6-year-old student shot his teacher at Richneck Elementary School in Newport News. And we've covered a lot of fallout since that day, including an account of what happened before, during, and after the shooting. We've learned from court documents that several teachers went to former assistant principal Ebony Parker for help before the student opened fire in the classroom. Now, it all started around 11:45, January 6th, 2023, when one student told their teacher about the boy bringing a gun to school. Well, that teacher searched the boy's backpack and did not find the weapon. So they went to Parker to warn her that the gun might be in the boy's pocket. Well, court documents state around 1 o'clock, the 6-year-old showed the gun to another student. That student went to a teacher who again took the concern to Parker. Parker told the teacher not to search the boy's pockets because his mom would be picking him up from school soon. And then 45 minutes later, the boy shot Zwerner one time, hitting her in the hand and the chest. Newport News dispatchers got that first 911 call just before 2 p.m. and got to the school in just 4 minutes. Now, police found the boy restrained by a teacher, the gun on the floor, and Abby Zwerner being treated by school staff in the front office. Medics rushed Zwerner to the hospital with serious injuries. On January 25th, the Newport News School Board held a special meeting and voted to fire Superintendent George Parker III. On April 3rd, Zwerner took legal action, filing a $40 million lawsuit against the school division and school leadership. Now, the school division tried to block that lawsuit, claiming Abby's injuries could be covered by workers' compensation. Now, a judge has since ruled that the lawsuit can move forward. And just about a week later, a grand jury handed down charges to the 6-year-old shooter's mother, Deja Taylor. Now, last month, a judge sentenced Taylor to 2 years in prison for child neglect, and she'll also serve an additional 2 years on a federal gun charge.
And more on that now as we go to Allison Basil, who spoke with Taylor's attorney, James Ellenson, today about the legal battle that she's endured over the last year.
And Allison, he says they've changed their mind about an appeal.
Janet, Dan, that's right. Deja Taylor is serving time on a state charge, and then after that will serve time on federal gun charges for her role in the Richneck shooting. But Taylor's attorney, James Ellenson, tells me he thinks the state sentence is unfair, but Taylor has decided not to appeal it. Deja Taylor currently sits behind bars 1 year after her son shot his first-grade teacher, Abby Zwerner.
She's sad. She was seeing her child as long as Calvin was there, and so now she can't see the kid, so that's hurtful too.
Taylor is serving a 2-year sentence at Western Tidewater Regional Jail for a felony child neglect charge. After that, her attorney James Ellison says she will serve a 21-month sentence in a federal prison for using marijuana while owning a gun. She could get out sometime near the fall of 2027. Investigators say the boy used Taylor's gun to shoot Zwerner last January. In court in December, a Newport News judge ruled that even though Taylor did not pull the trigger, she is liable for the, quote, reckless decision that led to the shooting. Ellison says he disagreed with the judge's 2-year sentence, but Taylor won't appeal it because the process would likely take longer than she has to serve.
It certainly was an unfortunate turn of events, but at the end of the day, she's guilty really of what she was guilty of, which was not taking good care of the gun. And so for that, and that's why the guidelines called for 6 months. So to get a sentence 4 times larger doesn't seem to be fair.
He says he thinks the federal sentence is fair and will give Taylor access to rehab services.
The state doesn't really have the resources that the federal system would have. So the substance abuse and mental health treatment and all that is probably going to have to wait till she gets to the federal facility.
And Ellenson says Taylor will likely participate in programs during her time in federal prison, and she will likely end up serving less than the 21-month sentence there. Live in Newport News, Allison Basil, 13 News Now.
Well, at the federal sentencing, Taylor's attorneys read a letter she wrote the judge saying she is remorseful for her actions leading up to the shooting, and she would have to live with this regret for the rest of her life.